It's August, so it's time to plant your fall greens. I know it's hot, and so you're not thinking about those more cool weather crops, but now's the perfect time. If you're in an area that's more or less like mine, I'm the mid-Atlantic in Virginia. It was a really hot day today. I want to show you something. See this raised bed right here? About 4 feet wide. The whole thing is 12 feet long, but I've just planted 8 feet of it today. I left the last foot of it I'm going to do right now here in a second. This is going to give us the best salads of the year. Come October and November, we're going to be having incredibly good salads, all coming from right here. You can do it in a small area. All right, so look, I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you what I did. Here are the exact things that I have already planted, other than at the end. 1 row of arugula. All right, I like what's called roquette or rocket arugula. Works really lovely. Then I did a couple rows of Paris Island romaine lettuce. Romaine is a great kind of, fundamental, really healthy for you. Paris Island Cos, K-C-O-S, is kind of a classic romaine. Then I have the Butter Crunch Bib. I really love that, so we did a couple rows of that. And then finally, I did a spinach, is a classic species. It's called Bloomsdale. So between that, arugula for a little spice, 2 kinds of great lettuce, get that spinach in there. It's going to make for incredible salads. All right, remember, you take care of your soil takes care of your plants. Feed the soil feeds your plants. I had already grown some squash in here earlier, so I got a couple of shovelfuls of well-rotted manure to put something back in before I'm going to take more out. Mix that in nicely. We're ready to go. All right. Also, think like a seed. You don't have to be slavish about following the directions on the seed pack about how deep and how far apart. Remember, for depth, in general, you plant a seed about several times, generally, the size of the seed. So picture if most of your greens are very small seeds. Picture like called a 32nd of an inch or so. Well, 3 or 4 times that gets you up to about 1/4 of an inch. So in general, it's about 1/4 of an inch, and that's not much that you're gonna put that under there. I make these rows no more than 1 foot apart. That's probably a little closer than it says in the book. But look, come here about 50 days from now, I'm going to be kind of picking, thinning. They're not going to have much time to interfere with one another. So sometimes you can be a little closer than you would have thought. So I plant my seeds about 2 inches apart, and then depending, maybe thin them then to 4 inches apart. But you can often let them grow enough that thinning is actually taking something young and starting to have salads with it. So I'm going to just show you, I just left the last corner here to be planted. When you're spending time in such a small area, you can take your time and do it right. Now, gosh, come in here close. These seeds are the smallest seeds you're ever going to see. These things are the arugula, and I still try to get one and boop, bop it in there. Go over a couple inches, do the next one. If you can't get it down to just 1 in your hand and 2 drop in there, when you get good at this, sometimes you have 2 in your hand and then you just twinkle it a little bit, 1 drops out, go and you've got the next one, bam. Throw another one in there for good measure. All right, I just left the last end right there, pop these extra seeds back in here. What I do is I take, again, these are all planted, but I just take then a little handful and I come back and crumple it on, and crumple enough that it's about 1/4 of an inch, and then you just kind of firmly press that down. Look, I love this piece of PVC. I love having a length where I don't have to take a string. I just pop that in there, boom. It's going to be straight. I come and I make a little furrow, just furrow that you can see with your eyes. Then again, boom, every 2 inches or so, put that little seed in there, come back afterwards, sprinkle it on, pat it down a little bit. Now, a key, this time of year, water, it's all about water. To get these things, so it's different than spring. That's the trouble here, in other words, the challenge here in August. So look, I'm gonna water it now. This is the first time I water it. Don't ever water in the heat of the day. So I planted it in the heat of the day, or it's actually before the heat of the day in the morning, but it was too late by the time I was done to water. If you water in the morning, water before the heat of the day. This time of year, it's lovely to water actually twice a day. You'd better do it at least once a day. When the sun is so strong, it gets so dried out. Again, never water where the sun is going to kind of bake it and make it be kind of crusty. You don't want that. Because those seeds are not far down under there, you have to have you have to have a spray like this. You don't want it to puddle up too much. You want it to just be kind of sinking down in. So I move around, move around. I am going to do this now because we're in the first week of August. I'm going to do this twice a day. I'm going to do it like this time, around 7 or 8 in the evening, and I'm going to do it first thing in the morning. And you know, this is a decent little water already that I've gotten right there. So this, again, 4 feet by 8 feet. This has been giving my family lots of great salads here. Come a little bit later. Arugula, butter crunch bib, romaine called Paris Island, Bloomsdale spinach, and I hope it's really great success for you.